Are there quests in Outlands? Where do I find quests? That's a great question, actually. And the answer is yes, there are quests in Outlands, but they're actually called societies. And after getting a certain amount of reward points, you can actually turn in those reward points for different things, like maybe different clothing, or dyes, mounts, or mastery chain links. So with that, guys, sit back, grab yourself a beer, let's do some questing. So there are actually 6 different societies. The society building can be found just north of the Lotto area and casino. The first we will talk about is the most straightforward, the Monster Hunter Society. Upstairs you will find coring. This one is actually typically your kill quests. Go find 100 Mongbats and kill them, or farm 25,000 in a particular dungeon. This is a great one because it will give you a goal to work towards while you're farming. Now, keep in mind, however, that the quests are all the same for everybody, so these particular dungeons may be more crowded than normal. Who am I kidding? Outlands dungeons are all crowded. The next one we'll talk about is right next to the Monster Hunters, the Adventurers Lodge. Meeting up with Osgood is great if you're a dungeon picker, a treasure mapper, or even a tamer. Also, remember those little research materials that drop? There's often a quest to decode a certain amount of these. Then you could trade and sell these pages to people in need of particular pages, or create a whole book. Once a full book is created, you will receive a mastery chain link as well as a level 8 treasure map. More on the lore system in the description below. Now as we go downstairs, we will see Baradine from the Order of the Armorers. If you're a tailor or a blacksmith, this is the one for you. Now, be mindful if it's asking for exceptional as well as the grade of material that it's asking for. One thing of note too, for these crafting societies, when you craft what it asks you for, it will actually be consumed. Currently, a lot of people will make a tailor on all 3 accounts and farm leather while doing Monster Hunter societies. Then do the tailoring societies as well as saving their points up to 600 for a random gold link and selling that on the open market for almost 3 million gold depending on the link that you get. Across the hall is Galvin, the Tradesman Union Master. This society is very similar to the Order of Armors, but rather than blacksmithing and tailoring, it's for carpenters and tinkerers. One thing of note is that the item ID wands regularly appear here. You will need the item ID skill in order to craft those as well if you choose to take that society quest. Next up is the Artificer Enclave. Kalia will be the NPC whom gives us these quests. These are for both alchemists as well as scribes. I don't want to say to avoid the scribe quests, but be very careful with them as the point to cost ratio is a little off on some of these. For instance, here we go. A junk gold link sells for roughly 2.7 million gold, and it costs 600 society points. Therefore, if we break that down, each point is worth about 4,500 gold. So it's a good practice to multiply the points by 4,500 and ensure the cost doesn't outweigh the reward. Also, keep in mind, some items may be difficult to craft exceptionally and cause you to fail, thus increasing the cost further. Martial manuals. Lastly is the Seafarer Society. You'll see old Vesio in the southeast corner of the building. Ship commanders and fishers. This one will be mostly done by veteran players as the cost and risk associated with boating is very high. If boating is something you are thinking of getting into, I'd recommend checking out Homedog on YouTube, also known as Brozan, as he has been posting some really great informative guides over boating and seafaring content. One last thing I'd like to cover is you can only select 10 quests a week, unless you pick up the necessary perks from the player customizations and gold sinks. So it's a good idea to plan out your character accordingly. For instance, you may not want your blacksmith and tailor on the same account as your scribe and alchemist. One thing of note too, if you accidentally pick up a society that you did not mean to, or you know you're not going to be able to complete, you can easily abandon the quest and it will give you back one more selection to pick another society. Now there is rumors that there may be more societies in the future, and I really wouldn't be surprised as often as Ultima Online Outlands updates. With that though too, guys, make sure you get to doing these societies as soon as possible, as it really does help income generation and helping progress your character. Other than that, guys, shout out to the Patreons, the channel members, and you for liking this video, as it not only helps for discoverability for myself, but UO Outlands in general. Make sure and come by the live streams most evenings at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube. If there's a video topic that you'd like me to cover, just be sure and comment it below in the comments, as I like making videos that are regularly asked for. Other than that, guys, I'll see you next time. Lone Star Gaming out.